And welcome back. The holidays are just around the corner, and we're here today with Amanda Bruggman from Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union to talk about some of those holiday costs that families are going to have coming up here. Amanda, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And so, again, holiday season right around the corner. I'm a Halloween guy, so I like to think that it's a little bit further away than it actually is, but it's going to start creeping up very quickly here, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And can you talk to me a little bit about, have you seen people starting to come in to prepare for that thus far?
You know, it's funny because I also am a Halloween person, so I've seen a lot of Halloween people, but I've started hearing the comments of, oh my gosh, Christmas stuff is in the store already. And there was actually a recent study done that 41% of people are worried that holiday spending is going to be more this year or something that they can't afford. And so I think people are definitely thinking about it, they're concerned, and hopefully that means that they're planning ahead, right?
Yeah, of course. And I'm kind of curious now, have you seen, in your experience thus far, have you seen these prices going up? Are these people right to be concerned?
Absolutely. I mean, we've all seen prices going up across the board. And it's not even just going to be the gifts that people are buying. It's going to be maybe travel expenses. It's going to be things like the holiday meals, right? You know, you look at, are we going to get as good of a price on a butterball turkey or whatever it might be? But there's a lot of other associated costs. So just taking a look at what a person can do to budget for that and then go forward from there.
Yeah. And I'm I really want to know, what are people cutting back on specifically? Are you hearing anything specific from certain people? It's like, this is what we've had to cut back on to make prices work over the course of this holiday season.
I can't say that it's actually been anything specific, but what I have heard in another recent study was that 5% we expect spending to be down about 5%, but Gen Z particularly is planning to spend 23% less than they did last year, which is, I find, quite interesting.
Yeah,
so.
I can say as a member of Gen Z, I can say that that's kind of realistic thus far from what my experiences have been in that sort of holiday season. I'm one of 6 siblings, so the wealth has to be spread. The wealth has to be spread a little bit. What are some of the ways that Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union, what are some of the ways that when someone walks in and says, what are we going to do for the holiday season? What's the first thing that's out of your mouth? Budgeting.
I mean, obviously that's going to be the first thing out of my mouth about pretty much anything money-wise. You got to know how much you can spend, right? And then from there, if you have like a lack of what you need in order to do what you're going to do, we do have options for a holiday loan where you can get up to $2,500 paid back over 10 months or less if a person wants to. You can always prepay without penalty. But the nice thing about that then is that you can get that up front with your spending plan, you can do the thing, and then pay it back. I always recommend responsible lending just because you've got to make sure that that's going to fit in your budget then through the rest of the year. But it is a nice option to be able to fill in the gaps there. But even if you can start spending or saving then for next year, that's also super helpful. But just knowing what you're going to spend on and actually writing it down, because impulse spending is one of those other kind of Achilles heels that can get people. And it can happen across the map again. It's not just gifts, but that can also be something that really impacts people. So just talking about that plan that they have for their money.
Yeah, and a lot of this sounds very doom and gloom. I don't want to like scare anybody, but it sounds very scary. Would you say that it is the perfect time, or is there never a bad time to come in and ask those questions? It's never too late.
Never too late, and it's never a bad time. And it shouldn't, I know it can sound doom and gloom, but it's not necessarily something that we need to get wrapped up in stress about. There's no shame and there's no judgment either. Some people might value doing really big gifts or different things like that. There's also going to be people that maybe want to do like the cookie of the month thing where they deliver cookies and something, and they do different kinds of gifts, but they're going to spend in other ways. And then there's other things that you can do by giving experiences, and there's a lot of free stuff that we can do as families. So there's a ton of different options. There's no shame, and sometimes just talking it out loud with a trusted person can be super helpful.
And what's some of advice that you could give either on behalf of Affinity or on behalf of yourself to people that would be watching this right now and going, I'm gonna go talk to Affinity. I'm gonna go figure this out. What are some of the other like little things that maybe people wouldn't think of initially that would help them budget and save for this holiday season?
That's a really good question. It's very personalized to the person, right? Because it's going to come down to what they value and what they want to accomplish. If you've got 6 siblings versus I only have 2 other siblings, it might look a little bit different. I've got 2 college-aged kids now, though, so that looks a little bit different than somebody who has little kids. So I think it's really just my advice is to come in and talk to us or reach out by email or phone. Like, we're happy to talk to anybody, and going through that stuff is the first step, and just being honest with what you want to do and then seeing how we can help get you there.
And would you say that there are different places or different things that people can do rather than having to break the bank, to go out and do all of these really, really flashy holiday things so far this season? Are there other things, like say here in the Duluth area or just outside of the Duluth, that people can go and have these holiday experiences without having to really reach to the bottom of the wallet?
Absolutely. I mean, we've got wonderful light shows. It's funny, I was driving back from the cities yesterday and I saw for the haunted place down in Pine Island, right? There's places like that that we can go and have an experience, which ultimately can sometimes result in a better gift, because what do we do with the trinkets that we get? And sometimes they get set to the side or things like that, where we're going to remember the time that we spend with people. So I highly encourage some of those different things. There's so many trails here. There's snowshoeing. There's different luminary hikes that are scheduled throughout this season. So I think there's a lot of different things like that that a person can do with their friends and family to make it special.
Yeah, you could donate in 20 years' time, you could donate one of those Christmas presents, but you can't donate the memory that you made then.
Exactly.
All right, Amanda, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure, and we will be right back after this.